welcome everybody. So in today's session, we're planning to share with you some of our insights into Moy Park. So who we are, what we stand for, and how we really use our values to guide our everyday decisions. So I'm joined by some really fantastic colleagues who will explain this to you in a little bit more detail. Aaron McKenna is going to provide you with a snapshot of some of the fantastic work his team are doing around sustainability and Moy Park's journey to net zero. I'm then going to share with you what type of opportunities there are available within the food industry and specifically the programmes that we have available at Moy Park. Two of our current graduates are then going to share with you their experiences, how they came to work at Moy Park, either through our placement programme, which is a direct feeder into the graduate programme, or directly onto the programme through recruitment. So they're going to talk about what opportunities this has given them, what they like about the programme, and where they see themselves heading in the future. And then we're going to finish off with a Q&A session. So we're not wanting to talk to you for a full hour. We recognise that you all have different reasons why you've joined this call today. It may be that you've heard how fantastic our programmes are and want to know where to sign up, or maybe you've never heard of Moy Park and want to find out more, or even that you have an interest in how our business approaches sustainability and that's caught your eye. Whatever it is, thank you for joining. We hope that you really enjoy the session and feel free to pop in the chat box what you hope to get out of the session. What's your motivation for joining as well? That'd be really, really key for us to know. And then pop in any questions as we go along. We may answer them before the end, and if not, we can make sure that we pick them up. So I do hope you enjoyed the session, and now I'm going to hand over to Nicola Leach.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Nick and I'm part of the early careers team and I am their program lead. So a big part of my role is really making sure that we have the right talent across the business, and I feel really privileged to be on today's call. So who is Moy Park? I'm going to kick off and share with you a quick video about who we are as a company and more importantly how we operate. Okay, thank you, Nicola. Yep, so apologies, I think that had dropped out there slightly in the video, but basically the video to share with you that agriculture is really at the heart of what we do, and today we're going to share with you a bit more around some of the projects we've been working on and what we stand for as a business. So my first question might sound a little strange, but on screen, if Nicola, if you click on there for me, I'm going to ask you, have you eaten in any of these places that you can see? So we have McDonald's, Burger King, Pizza Hut, KFC and Nando's. So if you've eaten in any of them, if you can share a reaction through Zoom with a thumbs up, and if you've eaten in all of them, if you could share a heart, and I'm going to give everyone about 30 seconds just to respond. Okay, quite a lot of hearts on the call today, which is nice to see. So if we move to the next slide then, did you know that Moy Park supplies chicken to all of them. So Moy Park is the UK's top 15 food company and Northern Ireland's largest private sector business. So we supply branded and own label chicken products to leading retailers. And our food service providers are throughout the UK, Ireland and Europe. We provide over 30% of the poultry population. So to give you a bit more idea of numbers, we have approximately 700 farmers and we process over 5 million fresh birds each week. However, Moy Park isn't just about chicken. So we supply beef pâtés, rashers of bacon, pieces of coated cheese, and we even supply the fruit pies that you may have eaten in McDonald's. Over 5,000 restaurants in Europe have at least one Moy Park product in them. And then Nicola, we can move on to the next slide. So our business is really constantly growing, and in 2020, Moy Park had £59 million investment across its sites. So how do we really set ourselves up for success? We believe as a business that we need to focus on not ensuring that the business is fit and healthy for today, but also for the future. And this is really done through the fantastic teams of people we have. Our vision, which you can see on the screen here, is to become the best and most respected company in our industry, creating the opportunity of a better future for all our team members. We really believe that this success is down to keeping competitive and creating an advantage through achieving the 4 key components that are on your screen right now. So firstly, it's safe people, safe products and healthy attitudes is really at our core. We believe safety is a condition. It's not a target. It's not something nice to have. And we really focus on this and ensure that every colleague leaves work how they arrive. As a business, we have large amounts of people operating across the world, so this is crucial. Secondly, we work really hard to pursue operational excellence. And this isn't just about what we do in our factories. It's down to how we talk, to how we work. And as a business, we're constantly reviewing, are we being effective and efficient across everything we do? With a simple rule of thumb, when things go wrong or right within the organisation, we step back and we ask ourselves, was this on our best day? And if we weren't at our best, how do we ensure we get there moving forward? Thirdly, then, is our unique portfolio. So as I already shared with you, we aren't just about the chicken. From our large beef operating business in France to a range of plant-based products, we have a diverse portfolio. And this is done through not only Moy Park, but also our sister food companies, Pilgrims UK and Pilgrims Food Naturals, which you'll see at the bottom of the screen. Some brands you may know and be familiar with are Fridge Raiders, Denny's, and then also Richmond. As a business, we constantly analyse customer trends and then we create new innovative products to match the demands of our customers. We believe this unique portfolio really ensures future growth and success with all the challenges within the business market. And then finally, wanting to become a more valued partner with our key customers. The company's philosophy is not about being the biggest, it's about being the best, and we believe the rest will then follow. So then on to our next slide then. In wanting to be the best, as you can imagine, we're setting a bar really high for ourselves. It requires all of us not only to challenge what we do, but most importantly, how we go about doing it. We focus on creating a culture in which everyone at Moy Park can make a difference and does make a difference. Our 7 values really reflect the shared attitudes and behaviours which we as a business adhere to, and actually it becomes part of our DNA and our ways of working. Values such as availability, humility, determination, sincerity, ownership, simplicity, and discipline. We really believe these values drive our business forward. And then Nicola, if you could go on to the next slide for me, thank you. And then just to share with you today, we're really proud of everything we work towards, and it's really important that we celebrate our inclusive culture. Across the business, we celebrate differences, we educate, and we raise awareness that each of us can leave a mark at Moy Park. We focus on diversity, inclusion, and belonging, and that's really important to us as we want to ensure new ideas are incorporated and best practices come from different areas within our business. Moy Park is really committed to being an equal employer. We recruit and develop and retain the most talented people, and that's regardless of their gender, their race, their disability, or age. I'm going to hand over to Aaron to you now, and he's going to share with you some of the exciting things that we've been stepping into as a business and his personal journey through Moy Park.
Thank you. Thanks, Nicola. If you want to just build the slide out, Nicola, there's maybe some animations on it. Good afternoon, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm out and about today. I had the pleasure of speaking to a leading food retailer in the UK today about all the great work that we do on research and development in Queen's University in Belfast. So I haven't made it back to the office in time, so currently stuck in a cafe, so hopefully the sound is coming through okay. But just a very brief background on my journey through Moy Park, and then moving on to some of the things that I'm really passionate about in our business and some of the things that we are working on at the moment. I'm from Northern Ireland, as you can probably tell from the accent. Apologies to those of you that maybe need some translation to go along with what I'm saying, but I've tried to slow down somewhat. I was lucky enough to get onto the Moy Park graduate scheme after studying in Queen's University in Belfast as an undergraduate doing zoology. And there I spent 2 great years moving across our business. The farm picture that you see in the top right hand corner is a farm that I spent some time on in England. In total, I spent about 2 years in England at different points in my career and journey through Moy Park, giving me fantastic opportunities to not only work in Northern Ireland, but also see how things are done in England. And you've seen in the map in the video that we have sites across Europe, and fantastic opportunity to develop your career across different parts of Europe. Coming off the grad scheme then, and after some time, I got the privilege to work with Waitrose as lead agricultural representative on our Waitrose account. We are sole supply of chicken into Waitrose, all of which is higher welfare chicken, and I had the pleasure to manage that relationship for a number of years. Another point just to call out is that once you stop on the grad scheme, and your learning within Moy Park doesn't stop there. And I have a fantastic privilege to be able to go back and complete a part-time PhD looking at Campylobacter within the poultry supply chain, sponsored by Moy Park. Really testament to how much development and investment Moy Park makes into its team members. And then lastly, to where I am today, I have the great pleasure of moving across from just focusing on Waitrose and dealing with them from an agricultural perspective, but to the role that I hold today, which is Head of Customer Support for Agriculture across the business. And that means, as you'll see in the next slide, that I get to work across a number of different customers that we have, whether that be Sainsbury's, KFC, McDonald's, Lidl, and many that aren't on the slide there, about their agricultural strategy and setting the objective. And on the next slide, I think it's just a really good definition of what my role is all about. And instead of reading it out, I'll just call out a couple of key bits. It's about driving and coordinating our agricultural strategy. And you'll hear a bit as we go through the presentation what that entails and the importance of things like animal welfare, sustainability, but also working to drive a consistency of approach, because there's only so many ways that we can do something, and the more alignment that we can get across our business, the more successful we will be. And probably the most exciting part of my role is developing all the new agricultural activities that we have going on. Like I said, I spent the morning discussing R&D, research and development, with Queen's University in Belfast and one of our leading customers. If you want to build out again then, just very briefly touching on some of our agricultural systems, and you got a good feel for it in the opening segment there, the opening video. There's 2 broad production systems that we work towards within Moy Park, and that's our free range and organic production of chicken. We're one of the largest producers of free range and organic chicken in the UK, and also our indoor production, the majority of which would be higher welfare. I think it's important to call out that those are fantastic systems, and we work with over 700 or 800 partner farmers in delivering chicken to our customers day in, day out. I'm going to build on again then for me, Nicola, and we'll talk about our agricultural strategy on a page. So what's important to us in Moy Park from an agricultural point of view? Well, there's 3 key elements. One is around bird welfare and performance. So that's all about being chicken-centric. That research and development that I've talked about today, asking and doing preference testing with our chickens, being science-led, being robust in the science that we are producing to ensure that we are catering for every need for those chickens within our care. And I'll mention in a couple of slides' time what we mean whenever we say welfare is a condition for our business. And moving on to environment and sustainability, absolutely huge topic. That is probably 90% of my day job now is focused around how do we meet our net zero targets? How do we meet the net zero targets of our customers? And I'm delighted to say that we have loads of exciting plans in place and work streams underway to move us towards where we want to be from an environment and sustainability point of view. And lastly, the last point to call out is just around the people that we work with, particularly from an agricultural point of view. I'm biased, obviously, but right across our organisation, there's fantastic people within our organisation. And it's about how we engage with those people, particularly from an agricultural point of view, as to what we do. You know, there's a lot of unknowns as to what happens on farm. And one of my key objectives in the role that I play is shedding a light on that, providing some transparency and really showing off the experts that we have within our operations. So again, if you just move on, I've already called it out. If you want to just build out the next two elements, Nicola, there's two key fundamental elements for me as far as I'm concerned within agriculture, and that's development of sustainability and our drive towards net zero, while maintaining the animal welfare standards that we set. And we have some clear objectives set by our customers in relation to both. So both the expectations that they have in terms of how we rear and produce those chickens, and also in terms of delivering our sustainability goals, delivery of net zero. And we've set some really ambitious targets. So whether that be Waitrose demanding that all their farms are net zero by 2035, or whether that's our corporate goal of reaching net zero by 2040. Huge work underway to try and deliver those elements. And if I just step into welfare on the next slide, we will see that we reference welfare, animal welfare within our business as a condition. Okay, so what that means is we have three conditions within the Moy Park business. That's people safety, that is food safety, and the last is animal welfare. So all three of those are critical and paramount before we start work. Okay, so we can't operate unless those things are in place. In terms of food safety and people safety, we're a long way down that road in terms of that journey. And I'm glad to say we're making huge strides in relation to animal welfare as well. We have set up forums. We liaise with external experts. I'm proud to say that we published our first ever animal welfare report in 2021, which was endorsed by Compassionate and World Farming and Dr. Tracy Jones, who works in Compassionate and World Farming. Anybody that is passionate about that space might recognise the name Dr. Tracy Jones. She's a bit of a rock star in terms of the animal welfare NGO world. So we're delighted to be able to say that we published that report. We're one of the first in the UK industry to do so, providing real transparency for our customers and our consumers in terms of how we are doing on farm. And if we move on then in terms of sustainability to my final slide, something that I know we're really passionate about within Moy Park, and I know it's close to many people's hearts on the call here. And if you just build through, Nicola, there's maybe 7 or 8 bills here. Apologies, I don't make slides easy for people to navigate through, but there's a number of different work streams that we are working on currently, whether that be looking at how we heat our poultry houses to be more sustainable, utilising heat exchangers, utilising solar panels, utilising battery storage of the energy generated from those solar panels, and looking at how we use our waste, generating green energy from anaerobic digestion, all key elements in net zero poultry farming of the future. And if you build out, I think, 2 more, Nicola, you'll see some of the other big levers that we have at play. And that's the feed that goes into our poultry within our sheds. And actually, what you can see in front of you, that's a roadmap for us to deliver around a 65 to 75% reduction in our carbon footprint of where we stand today. And chicken actually is one of the most, if not the most, sustainable proteins that you can pick up in a supermarket. But we have the roadmap or the framework in front of us laid out very simply here in front of you as to how we are planning to go further. I probably oversimplified that massively. There's about 10 years work just within that slide, but hugely excited. And ultimately where we want to get to is driving that 60 to 70% reduction, and then looking at how we can sequester some carbon further through biodiversity enhancements, trees, etc. So I'm sure there'll be loads of questions. That's all from me now. I'll be happy to take any questions later on.
Oh, that was a great insight. Thank you so much, Aaron. And a really interesting insight into sustainability and obviously the hard work that the business is doing and obviously your team putting into this area. So I'm hoping now that if you hadn't already done so, that obviously you're thinking about what your career options are. Some of you may already know what you want to be doing. It might be that you want to be working in finance. It might be that you're looking at agriculture, commercial, HR or PR, or even an environmental area, and may not have considered the food industry as an option for this. Well, what I'd like to share with you today is that there are absolutely a multitude of opportunities that are available within the food industries. So this map was designed by across the food and drink industry to really showcase what the routes are in different areas and what career pathways could look like for anybody wanting to join. The beauty of this is also that you don't always need to follow a linear path. So you might join the business in one area, but feel that you'd like to look at another area to build another skill set. And that is absolutely an option and something that is a great way that we've seen people come into the business and really prove success within there. So like I said, this just shows you such a lot of different areas that potentially you wouldn't necessarily always associate with the food industry. And at the end of the call, I'll share with you the link that you can look at this in a virtual way, so you can drill down into some of the different roles to actually see, you know, what does it mean when we say within supply chain that you're a procurement manager? What does that mean? What's the skill set around that? And is that something that would be interested for you as well? So, excuse me, just going to the next one. So what roles are available at Moy Park? So we have 3 programs that are available for people to apply for. So these are within placement opportunities, graduates, and also apprenticeship routes. So our early careers programs offer fantastic development opportunities for the right candidates to grow their career in a very fast-paced and innovative industry. So our rotational placement program is available for anyone who is looking to gain a year in industry prior to their final year. This is an absolutely fantastic opportunity for students to gain an insight into the food industry and the breadth of roles that are available. It's also a great way to get a feel for what really interests you in your career. You may think that actually, you know, you'd be really suitable to working from home, you'd love to work on spreadsheets all day, or that you don't really have a preference. With the opportunity to complete 3 placements across 3 different functions, you may find that actually you prefer the hustle and bustle of production environment or outside on the farms, hitting really tight deadlines rather than sat at home, with your head in a spreadsheet. So we also offer our placement students the opportunity to complete training courses that will help develop their skills. So whether this is understanding your own values on how to influence people, there'll be skills that you'll be able to take back to the university and forward onto your career. Another great benefit of the placement programme is it's a direct feeder onto our graduate programme. If you perform well, as Ellie is proof of, you will be offered a role at the end of your placement year, and Ellie will share her journey on that in a little bit. So the Moy Park Graduate Programme, this offers outstanding learning and development programme, which creates fantastic opportunities for our graduates to grow their career and become a future leader at Moy Park. All of our graduates are given an individual development plan that's been defined by a functional experts to gain a breadth of experience and knowledge across different placements at Moy Park. So our programme is a 2-year programme, and most of our graduates complete either 3 or 4 different placements, which will allow them to work on projects and lead on various different areas whilst learning the fundamentals of the food industry. So type of things that could involve would be managing a production line in our operations programme, could be in our commercial programme, so overseeing a customer or category account, working as a quality assurance manager in technical, or even enhancing the overall performance in the finance function. There's opportunities are really endless, and the pathway to success is your drive and determination and desire to learn. So we're also excited to be introducing degree level apprenticeship opportunities. So this would work if you have completed a degree, and then sometimes you might go, actually, that's not what I want to do my career in. There's degree apprenticeship opportunities that you can take, and that's a great way to continue your learning, but actually earn at the same time as well. So there are our current routes. And yeah, so really it's now about actually what is it that we need, what do we need, what are we looking for when we take on our graduates and our placement students. So if you're somebody who is absolutely determined to succeed, somebody who is driven, somebody who is passionate about making a difference and wants to make a difference, somebody who's ready for a challenge and able to display our company values, and really, really importantly, somebody who's forward thinking and has a constant growth mindset. As you'll see, we've changed quite a lot. Things change at a very rapid pace, and it's great to have people that are on board with that and can learn and grow. Then really this is a program that you should really consider having a look into. And this is why we want people to come into the business to make that difference, and to really make their mark on Moy Park. So I'm just going to hand over now to Ellie, who's going to share with you her journey from a rotational placement student onto our graduate programme.
Hi everyone. Yeah, I'm the same as Aaron. I'm between sites today, so I'm currently in the car, so I'll hopefully you can hear me. But I'm Ellie, and I'm currently on the HR graduate programme at Moy Park, and I'm a previous rotational placement student. So I went to Nottingham Trent University, and I was doing business management with economics. Really didn't have a clue of what I wanted to do, and so I was looking for my placements. I found Moy Park, and the appeal of Moy Park is the rotations. Because of what I was unaware of what I wanted, I was like, right, okay, so at least I get to experience a few different areas. So I applied, got in, and started in HR and commercial. So I did 3 months on site HR, where I worked on disciplinaries, engagement opportunities, you know, I ran the app for the website and the business, did a load of recruitment, payroll. So I really got, you know, hands dirty straight away. I then went to early careers, where I worked alongside Nicola, and we were, you know, trying to promote apprenticeships. A few of the slides you've seen earlier, I did sort of the recruitment material for all of that and the stuff you see at your careers days. I ran the graduate assessment centre that Jack was on when he speaks to you. So again, big experiences. And then finally I went on to commercial, and this was within the Sainsbury's team. So we supply all sorts of products to Sainsbury's, and one of the big things that I was working on was the barbecue season. So we got to do taste testing, we got to go to stores and have, you know, audits, see what other competitors are doing. We then got to, you know, analyze the market, see what customers want, you know, do they want teriyaki, do they want barbecue, you know, that was the sort of things we were looking at. So yeah, I was able to see a huge breadth of areas, and then I got to the end of my program and I had to present to senior management, and at the end of that they offered me my place on the graduate program. I was so lucky to be able to get that, and I chose HR, which is where I am today. So a lot of the opportunities and experience that I was able to experience within the placement program was actually my networking. I didn't know anyone when I first went in, and now I've come back on the graduate program and I know lots of people. It's coming back, it's being able to chat with people, be able to ask questions. You know, I don't know everything about agriculture that Aaron does, but you know, now I can talk to Aaron, I know who to go to if I need that sort of experience. It's suitable for everyone. You know, I didn't know what I wanted to do. You were able to find your niche. It opened your eyes to a number of different areas. And actually you can apply yourself to the real world. My degree was very theoretic. It was, you know, what's going to happen in the best case scenario. That doesn't happen every day. So I was able to apply what I'd learned, but also I was able to take back the real life experiences back to university for my final year. So yeah, brilliant program. I can't get enough credit. So now back on my HR graduate program, I've been given a whole development program to follow. So I'm currently in agriculture HR, but I then be going to a site function next, and so I know how my 2.5 years is mapped out. I'm able to go on lots of experience days. So at the bottom there is our trip to Dublin we went to at the weekend. It was a whole big cultural event, learning about the values of the business, how people work. It was amazing to talk to people from all over. It wasn't just Moy Park, it was pilgrims as well. And then finally I can work on my old knowledge. So I did my placement, it was short and sweet, you know, 3 months goes really quickly in HR, but actually now I've learnt bits there and I can now bring it back to the business, which I'm so excited to be able to apply myself and see what I remember and then work on that knowledge. So yeah, so can't fault it, it's incredible. Pass on to Jack, I think.
Thanks, Ellie. Just bear with me a second. So my name's Jack. A little bit about me to start off with. So same as Ellie, I went to Nottingham Trent University. I graduated last year doing business management, accounting and finance. I did my placement year at Specsavers in Nottingham in the accounts payable department, and I've currently been at Moy Park for 13 months, and I'm in my third placement. So a little bit about the job. So far, I've completed placements in agriculture finance, supply chain finance, and I'm currently working in the commercial finance team. So Agri followed the process from buying eggs, the hatcheries, the farms, and dealing with all the costs incurred at each stage. So things like feed pricing, energy costs, projects for improvements, and dealing with external pressures such as AI, which is avian influenza, and the heat loss, which was the birds we lost when it got up to sort of 40 degrees in the summer. Supply chain was everything involved in transporting things around the business. So trucks, ferries, air travel, and company cars, as well as dealing with external logistics companies. And commercial, where I am now, that involves reporting on weekly performance, creating presentations and commentary for the board of executives to review each week, looking after cost centers, and I'm just starting to begin looking at the budgeting process. Working in these diverse teams has given me a great experience, and as time goes on, you really start to put together the jigsaw in your head and understand the scale of the company. Many of the skills that I've learned in terms of pricing, managing the rising inflation costs, sales reporting and budgeting are key skills in almost any business. And I think these will stand me in good stead in whatever industry I might go into in the future. And I think this theme is sort of mirrored throughout all the other disciplines that are available on the graduate scheme. Essentially what I'm trying to say is that working in the food industry isn't pigeonholing yourself going forwards. So the next section is just a little bit about the program. Some of this we might have already covered, so apologies if so. So typically 2 to 3 years in roughly 6-month placements. And this means by the end, you should be very well-rounded and have a broad range of experience. This is helpful for progressing internally within Moy Park or differentiating yourself from other candidates if you go for other jobs in the future. A few additional things we do. So 5-a-side football, we've had some guest speakers in, which have been great. We have a book club, which is more exciting than it sounds. And other conferences and events like you might have seen on Ellie's previous slide. Also merging with our sister company Pilgrims means there's a lot of opportunities for comments and development going forwards, which is very exciting. We also have a buddy and mentor scheme. So it's always really good to have someone to speak to, and you can have clear goals set and sort of small chunks to work towards your goals. This really helps to keep me motivated and stay on track. I also get 6 hours per week to study towards my SEMA Chartered Accountancy exams, and this has been paid for by Moy Park. As Aaron mentioned earlier, they put him through his PhD as well, and I think it really highlights the company's commitment to developing its employees. As I mentioned at the moment, I'm on my third placement and I've now lived in Lincoln and I've just moved to Belfast actually. I've really enjoyed the opportunity to travel and visit these new places. And this is something that's really encouraged on the graduate scheme. So it's something that you should definitely be comfortable with before you apply. The final section I've got is just some of my key learnings. So first of all, the importance of creating a strong network. After a couple of placements, you start to get a lot of contacts in different teams who you can speak to if you need any help. And this is obviously extremely useful if you ever need someone to sort of lean on. Also learning from such a wide range of people, it's great to see how people work and their different way of working and start to build your own style. So shadowing people and the sort of sub teams within the larger teams you're in, you'll work with a massive range of personalities and people of different ages, and this can really accelerate your on-the-job learning. Sort of following on from that, also learning from your managers and their management styles. This is a management trainee program, so those are the positions that we should be aiming for on the long term. So I think it's really interesting to observe and start to build your own style from what you think works well, and maybe things that don't work so well as well. And finally, just wanted to say that a food company might not seem maybe fashionable or maybe a bit niche. That's maybe the opinion I had before I started. But it's actually a very exciting and fast-moving industry. And although this is something you might not have considered before today, the experience and learnings that you'll get will definitely put you in good stead moving forwards. I'm passing back on to Nicola, I think.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you both. And again, that's some really good insights. So hopefully that sort of gives you a little bit of a flavour for what it's actually like to be on the programme. I mean, I can sit here and tell you all about the greatness, but I think that these two really encapsulate that as well. So to finish on, what I'd like to do is just to explain to you sort of where you can apply. So I am absolutely delighted to say that if you are a current Enactus student, and this is verified by Charlie and his team, if you meet the minimum criteria, you will be fast-tracked through our recruitment process to the video interview stage. So if you would be interested in applying, please click onto this QR code, which will take you through to our website, which I think if I click on this, it should do that. Let's just see. Great, so this is our website. So this is taking you through to our early careers programme section. On here you can find more details on the programmes. There's some videos from our current placements, so some of our current and previous graduates. It tells you a little bit more about each of the different areas that you can apply to. And all the details in there as well, so what type of things that you'd get involved with, and then what we just need you to do is to click on this alert me when the programme reopens, enter in your name into the box as such. If you wanted to put on there that you're an Enactus student, then that will give us a flag up as well. Check up, add in your email, and then let us know what you're interested in. So it could be that you're interested in all three of them. It could be that you're interested in just being the graduate position, or it could be that you're interested in placement. Click on submit, and that will send us a handy little message so that we know that when we go live that we'll be able to contact you as well. So I'm just going to stop sharing there. I think I might go back to the screen. Yeah. And come back to the screen and ask for the team to put their cameras back on. And what I would like to do now is to open up the floor to if anybody's got any questions for myself, for the graduates, for Aaron, or about the sustainability piece, or to Nick about the programme.
We've got a question in the chat just around programs, just asking if you are a postgraduate student, can you still apply to the graduate scheme?
For the graduate scheme, yes, potentially if it's the right programme, yes, we would have a look at that application as well. Yeah.
Excellent. I had a question actually, just while we give students an opportunity to pop any questions they've got in the chat. It's kind of it can be kind of directed to anyone actually. But what is the kind of top skill that you use in your day-to-day role in your job? And how has Moy Park helped you develop that skill?
Oh, so that's a good question, Charlie. You could have pre-warned us on that one. I'm going to chuck that to Aaron.
Pre-warning, yeah, sounds good. Pre-warning sounds good, Nicola. I think it's a great question, Charlie. For me, confidence. And there's a difference between confidence and overconfidence, but I'll never forget one of the best bit of advices that I got from my manager whenever I was in the grad scheme. I was about 6 months in. You attend loads of meetings, and he said to me one day, you've great ideas, but you only tell me, and you never come forward with them whenever we're in a group setting. And it took me about 6 months to realise that. And once I had the confidence through his encouragement to be forthcoming with ideas, I haven't stopped since. And some people will tell you that I'm too vocal now in meetings, but I think that was one of the big things. The other thing would be resilience, because it's a big change, particularly in, if you move from being a student into the working world. And I think being resilient and trusting yourself that actually you're doing okay and you're more resilient than you think, you can do this. I think it'll get you past that initial stage whenever you're finding your feet and set you on a great trajectory for life in Moy Park.
Great, thank you. And I shall then also chuck that to Ellie. What would you say?
I would say my communication skills and my presentation. You know, I would not have sat here now, and I said this to Nicola when I finished my program, I would not have sat and spoken to senior management and people I didn't know and talk to them and all that sort of stuff. But now I would happily go into a meeting and share my thoughts. I'd happily talk now, you know, and I think that really gets you quite far, because the whole point of our program is to be at that management level, and it really helps developing it now rather than in 3 years time or 4 years time, whenever it may be. You know, if we get it embedded now, it really sticks, and I think that's really helped me.
Yeah, that's great, thank you.
Oh, question from Lily.
Yeah, hi. I'm really interested in the commercial graduate program, and I was just wondering, like, what the career progression is like afterwards. Like, once you finish the grad program, are you then like in constant employment at Moy Park, or kind of what happens once you finish the graduate scheme?
Yeah, Nick, do you want to take that one, or do you want me to take it?
Yeah, I think it's both of us, to be fair. So when you join Moy Park, and Aaron and Jack both touched on it at the start, we're investing in you. So we go through quite a grilling assessments in the centre, because we want the right people with the right fit in terms of the values. And actually, if you are that person as a business, you come in on a permanent contract. So we're saying to you from day one, it's about you as an individual, and actually there's a team of people throughout the graduate program there to really support you. So you have the early careers team, you have your managers, which Aaron touched on earlier, you have senior HR business partners, and really their role is very different. It's more that, what can we do in that career conversation? I'm actually getting you to where you want to be. We have a strategic team, and really they're the experts in the area. So if it was commercial, it might be looking at insights, it could be the directors for our business account. It just depends where it sits, and actually they're invested in you as well, and seeing your progression and actually reviewing how you're getting on. So come the end of the program, it's really down to yourself. We've had people come to the end of the program being really honest with you and saying, do you know what, I have done a placement. I'll use the example with technical. Atif, currently on our graduate program at the minute, he's coming to the end, and he said, I would quite like to go into operations. He had one placement in it, and he's like, this is where I see my path going. So we have then catered for him and extended his program to give him that opportunity. So it's really down to yourself and actually where the opportunities are within the business. We have some of our current graduates that have now went and taken on, come the end of their program, as a comment. So we have some out in McDonald's at the minute, and they're really getting to build on their knowledge that they have. There's opportunities not just within Moy Park, but also within our wider business, and the opportunity to travel as well. So it's really down to you and the work that you put in. And we always say as well, once you join a company and we're taking that investment into a lot of the time in the food industry, it's constantly changing. It might be that you take a side step into something else, but definitely that leadership piece, it is a fast track program for a reason, but it's really down to you and then making the most of every opportunity. And I think Ellie and Jack will probably share with you a bit of advice before we finish the call today. It's about saying yes to every opportunity and the roles that are there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I think just to sort of echo what Nick said there, so there'll be specific roles within the end of the programme. So particularly if you're going to commercial, we've had success with people going into commercial exec roles. That might be that they're working in customer. There's people that have gone into the brand marketing team as well. We've got people who've gone into our .com team. So when you go do any of our programs, you see a wide part of the business. You don't just get sectioned into one bit. So with commercial, you're looking at NPD, you're looking at anything from product concept all the way through to the end as well. Aaron, who's now terrible, I can't really think what your title is, but I know you're very senior within your role. We've got another graduate who is running one of our factories now. She's joined as technical, but she's actually now operations manager. So those opportunities really are endless. And like Nick said, if you apply yourself and you look for those opportunities, it's a permanent role that you are given, and we'd seek to find a role that would suit you towards the end there as well. That's a great question though. Thank you, Lily.
I got a direct message of a question. I'm going to rephrase it slightly. I think it's aimed at Aaron, really. Aaron, how important is it that sustainability is woven into all aspects of the business?
Yeah, hugely, absolutely. I think for me, the environmental piece married with the animal welfare piece that I talked about is absolutely integral to ensure that we are still in business in 20 or 30 years' time. It gives us the social license to do what we do. So if we aren't doing things in a responsible manner, either our consumers or regulators aren't going to allow us to operate going forward. So I think it's absolutely fundamental. The commitment and the focus that sustainability gets within our business is huge. Good example of that. I have the privilege of chairing what's called our Scope 3 emissions working group. It's a group that's been set up in the last 9 weeks to really put a framework around all the work that we've probably been doing for about 5 or 6 years now. But that is executive sponsorship. So our executive sponsors, our executive team are as much focused on sustainability as the actual people who are working on that as part of their day job. So I think really it's going to only increase from here, and both within Moy Park and our wider organisation in Pilgrims and JBS, there's a huge focus on a huge investment into that area.
That's really great to hear how it's kind of you're kind of at the forefront of this in such a fast-moving industry. That's fantastic stuff. Someone's asked a question: do you have any positions in? Nicola's just answered it in the chat. I wonder though if you could expand a little bit, Nicola, about if there's any opportunities, because you mentioned opportunities with .com. Is that something that happens kind of post-grad scheme on the tech side of things, or something that there are like entry opportunities into that side of the business?
Yeah, so there's entry opportunities at all different parts of our functions. So yes, there's the specific areas that we look for on the graduate programme, which would then, as Nick said, give you sort of fast track opportunity into those senior leadership roles. But you could also just apply for a role as a graduate, if that's an area of the business that you're interested in. Obviously, it depends in terms of whether there's a position available at that point in time. But obviously, there's a lot on our website. We advertise on Indeed as well. So don't always feel that you have to come through. The graduate programme is fantastic. All of our programmes are really good, and they give you lots more than just that role. But if there's specific function area that you're really keen on going into, then there is those direct opportunities as well, which is all on our websites.
I didn't get sent any more questions, and I can't see any more in the chat at the moment. Did someone mention, I think it was Nick, you mentioned some closing pieces of advice from Ellie and Jack?
Yeah, even from ourselves. So if we go around, Jack, if you want to go first.
Yeah, so it might seem a bit obvious, but just trying to be as open-minded as possible and try as many things as you can. Especially when you start work, just try and be a yes person and say yes to as many things as you can. Because even if the experiences don't necessarily seem like you need to do them, over a longer period of time, you'll really build up your experience. Yeah, that would be my key piece of advice, I think. Thank
you. Ellie, then?
Mine would be ask questions. There is no such thing as stupid question. It took me ages to realise that. And, I got told only this weekend, if you're not asking questions, if you're not doing something, you're probably doing something wrong, because no one knows everything yet. I personally don't know everything. I'm sure even Aaron doesn't know everything. I'd be presumptuous, Aaron. But, we all don't know yet. So if you ask me questions, because if you suddenly ask a question, can I go to a farm? I've done it. I've been to the hatchery and a farm within 5 weeks of being at Moy Park already, and I just wanted to go and see it because I don't know anything about it. Well, now I do. So ask questions. That'd be my biggest advice.
Thank you, Ellie. Yeah, and then from me, just to echo what Ellie said there, my biggest advice for anybody joining, whether it be Moy Park or anywhere, is stay curious, ask why, really absorb yourself in the information that you're given at the start of your career, feed your curiosity, and it's really a time for you to establish, one, who you are, but also to branch into that learning piece. And actually some of the things that you don't think are necessarily for you, that's where you'll grow as a person, and you'll look back on it and go, wow, I'm so glad I did that. And definitely just, when you know better, you do better. Give yourself that time, whatever career path you go into, as long as you're asking them questions and open to new opportunities and saying yes. if you work hard and stay humble, you will succeed. And definitely with Moy Park especially, you've so many people rooting for you to do well, whether that's be through a coach, a mentor, key stakeholders within the programs, or even just in a direct role. And we invest in people in our business, and our talent is really based around that organizational fit and having them values. And that's something that really helps us. And I shared that earlier about our success and growing. And if you can demonstrate them and build on them, you have all the tools that you need once you leave university to do well and succeed. Aaron, if I come over to you then, a bit of advice.
Firstly, Ellie, you're right. I don't know everything. And secondly, second bit of advice is just apply for Moy Park grad scheme. Probably the best decision I've ever made in my life. I mean that genuinely. So yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you, Aaron. And then Nicola, I'm going to hand over to you to close.
That was going to be my advice as well. Apply for the graduate scheme or the placement program. But so I will extend on that and say that we really look for value. So really understand when you're looking to apply for a company. You know, we might see that you've had a business management degree, but we might see 50, 100 applications have got business management degree. We want to find out about you. So the assessment centres, the assessments we're looking for is really around finding out about you. Be true to yourself, and that shines through, and that's really going to secure you in that role in a business that is right for you. So do a little bit of research, make that CV unique to you, and that will really get you the foot in the door as well. So thank you again for your time today. I hope you've enjoyed our presentation, and like I say, check out our website for more information.
Thank you very much, Nicola. From myself, the students on the call, and everybody watching the recording, I just want to say a massive thank you to Nicola, Ellie, Nick, and Jack. You're absolutely fantastic on the call today, and Aaron, of course. Sorry, I was looking at the names and I was like, the backgrounds, and you have a Moy Park background. But thank you so much. Thank you for answering all the students' questions and giving us such a great insight into not only the opportunities available, but how sustainability is kind of built into the heart of everything at Moy Park. It's really great to hear. I'll echo what Nicola said. Go out, do your research and apply for the grad scheme. Don't forget to notify that you're Enactus, and remember to be registered with us, because if you're not registered with us, then we won't be able to confirm that you are in fact an Enactus student. So thank you so much, everybody, and that about does it for this session. So take care, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye.